So there's a film that came out recently called The MANODROME, which I thought to see because it's quite similar to a movie that I reviewed about 4 years ago that I really liked. And even though many of you are going to send death threats against me for liking it, and interviewing the director who was responsible for it and co-writing it, well, your loss. It was called CUCK, but MANODROME decided to take it in its steps by exploring the issues of toxic masculinity, which, depending on who you talk to, is either, a very evil thing or a lot of bullshit. Now, I'm not going to make any mistake. My politics are left-leaning. Toxic masculinity is pretty much asshole behaviour. Getting yourself drunk, beating up on women, calling people N-words, C-words, shouting the F-word at the top of your lungs like an arse, drugs and getting in fights with people because you have a particular football team. That's what it is. I said by someone who supports West Ham and an FCB, but that's another story. But overall, the film itself, I don't think it's as good as CUCK. No, it's as good as Joker, the film that often it gets compared to. But what it does have is quite a troubling depiction of a man who's working a sort of gig economy type job, who feels like he has some sort of belonging in this sort of little group of his that he can call his own. But even then, he's being taken into places that he doesn't want to go. But he ultimately, has no other way of getting it because of his troubled relationship with his wife, and he's going to have a child and everything all in between. So it's more or less sort of a case study psychoanalysis of essentially today's broken men. Millennials, Gen Z, there's a lot for sort of men in their 30s, maybe even 20s, that they can relate to. It'll make you angry, but many people will see this as an insult against their values and just take it as that. Which is a shame, because I think there's a bit more things that the film was wanting to say, but as far as a sort of takedown on sort of the role of masculinity in the sort of Uber economy world that we live in, the gig economy, I think CUCK is probably a bit more on the nose, on the muscle than this. But it's certainly much better than the film that it often gets compared to as Fight Club, which I don't care much for. It's just overhyped like a machine. And, everyone says, well, the first rule about Fight Club, you don't talk about Fight Club. Just stop it. I know people treat it as this great cult film, but I think it's just... It's a bit of a hooey. But I don't think this movie is as great as some might make it, and nor is it as terrible as much of the internet wants you to believe. So get out your Jordan Peterson, Andrew Tate circle of things and see the light a while. Or you might get another thing coming. Anyways, signing off.